Hello and welcome to Undead Gaming News, your one-stop shop for all things gaming. I'm your host Zombie, and first up this week, a new update is coming to the PS5. It's currently in beta and it should be released next month, and one of the biggest changes with this update they'll be making is the complete removal of the accolades system. The reason why they're doing this is simply because it's not being used enough, so they don't see the point in keeping it, which is good to see, the fact that they're actually monitoring usage of their features and not keeping something just because they like the idea of it, and changing things based on what users are more interested in. But Sony have also filed for a new patent. This time it's for a new PS5 controller design, and the difference between the current PS5 controller and this new design is the thumbsticks. In this new design, the thumbsticks have a built-in force feedback, and this could react to the game you're playing, with the sticks becoming harder or easier to move depending on the game, or offering an extra vibration. It seems kind of like combining the haptic feedback with the adaptive triggers just in the thumbsticks instead. Whether or not this patent will be approved, or even come to fruition, is a different thing, so I'll have to wait and see on that one. But they're also partnering up with Backbone to launch a officially branded version of Backbone's mobile controllers. The PlayStation Edition Backbone 1 is styled after the PS5's DualSense controller, and it's also tailor-made to work with the PS5's Pulse 3D headset, which can be connected directly to the PlayStation Backbone. Backbone app will feature special integrations with the PlayStation Remote Play app, so if you're a serious mobile gamer, then this might be for you if you're interested in the PS5 controller design and want something officially branded by PlayStation, but for your phone. In other news, the Indonesian government blocked access to a range of online services, including Steam, Epic Games and Origin, after the companies failed to comply with a new requirement related to the country's restrictive content moderation laws. In line with the rules, companies deemed as private electronic system providers must register with the government's database to operate in the country, or otherwise face a nationwide ban. Indonesia gave companies until July the 27th to comply and has since banned those that haven't. However, Valve has now registered and Steam is now officially unlocked and accessible in Indonesia. However, Epic Games and EA's Origin still remain blocked, and there is no official confirmation on whether they plan to register yet. But speaking of bans, Steam is also going to be banning award logos on marketing pages on the store. According to Valve, the most obvious problem is that award logos, reviews and discount adverts clutter the image, often shrinking the actual game logo to the point of indecipherability. Other problems include the use of review scores that are no longer accurate, as well as the use of English text that is isolating much of the Steam audience that doesn't speak English. Besides that, Valve also points out that Steam has a page of its own for review scores, awards and discounts. Starting from September the 1st, review scores, award names and discount marketing are all banned, along with any text or imagery promoting a different product, such as a sequel, as is any miscellaneous text. If a publisher or developer is promoting a new seasonal update or major patch, they need to use artwork overrides, which are basically a separate layer over the existing image. Sticking with Steam, Valve has also announced that the Steam Deck will be shipping to regions in Asia later this year, and has already started taking pre-orders. Komodo is working with Valve as an authorized reseller of the Steam Deck, and customers in Japan, South Korea, Taiwan and Hong Kong can place pre-orders on Komodo's retail site. If you have a reservation in other regions like North America, UK or EU, your position in line to get a Steam Deck won't be affected by the Komodo pre-orders. I would assume that is because Komodo will have their own separate pre-order list. In other news, Blizzard has cancelled a World of Warcraft spin-off after it was in development for 3 years. The game was being developed by NetEase, which co-developed Diablo Immortal. They are China's second largest games company after Tencent. The spin-off was internally referred to as Neptune, and was intended to be a mobile World of Warcraft MMO set in a different time period to the main game. NetEase apparently had a team of over 100 people working on the title, and it's reportedly been disbanded, with only some of those retaining roles at the company. The reason behind the cancellation is down to a dispute between Blizzard and NetEase over terms. It was never clarified what specific terms caused the dispute. I would assume the terms would be to do with how much they're getting paid, but that is just speculation, as no official terms were specified. Also in the news, if you recall the Halo 2 challenge that we talked about in the last episode, that Moist Critical set, for a $20,000 reward. Despite it being nearly impossible, streamer Jervalin managed to do it in a run that took almost 6.5 hours. It almost went completely wrong near the end, which I imagine would have been extremely infuriating if it did, but thankfully it didn't, and he managed to win. So congratulations to him. Also in the news is the survival MMO Last Oasis. If you visit their Steam page, you'll find an article titled Last Oasis Sucks. It's not a post on the discussion page written by a player, and it's not an opinion piece from a gaming media outlet. It was written by a Last Oasis developer. Last Oasis is a nomadic survival MMO where players construct and travel land-crawling fortresses called walkers. It entered early access back in March of 2020 and experienced some major server problems, and 3 days later it went offline and offered refunds. Last Oasis eventually resurfaced and lots of changes have been made, but concurrent player counts have wavered between a few thousand and a few hundred since, and its Steam reviews have remained mixed. As for the developer's article, they state, "When I say it sucks, I mean I'm not having fun for long when playing it. Not as long as other survival games I enjoy. We could argue back and forth why Last Oasis is objectively not fun and what needs to be changed to make it a great experience. We did actually, for 4 seasons to be precise, and while each season got rid of tons of problems, there was always one fundamental issue remaining. I personally am not having fun when playing Last Oasis for long. If I were to make Last Oasis from scratch, what would I do? The difficulty in Last Oasis used to be non-existent until you encountered another player who could destroy everything you owned in under 3 minutes. The world is in every way trying to actively kill you. The sun will make you constantly struggle for survival, water is precious, massive deadly sandstorms can catch you off guard. The developers have updated the game to increase the difficulty of the AI and offer you the choice between a PvE or PvP experience, and they've also removed the nomadic nature of Last Oasis, which was actually a big part of the original marketing. So now instead of building a land-crawling fortress as a base, you will be building one as an expedition module that you can store in your static base and take out whenever needed. The developers admit that these changes won't be to everyone's liking, but they hope it will be a better experience overall. Also in the news we have Logitech G teaming up with Tencent Games to release a cloud gaming handheld later this year. Currently noted as the Logitech G gaming handheld, the device is expected to support Nvidia GeForce Now and Xbox Cloud Gaming. Though very little info has been released yet in regards to the actual device or its specifications, so I'll update you as we get more info. We're also getting an upcoming patch for Dying Light 2, which will bring more enemies, missions and bounties for players when it arrives, with the game's 2nd chapter. Each chapter of Dying Light 2 will bring chapter agents, new missions, new bounties, new ranked systems, and rewards. For chapter 2, titled A Huntress and a Hag, this will involve introducing players to Shen, Dying Light 2's next agent. Shen will offer players tasks related to her proficiency in tracking and archery, and will be added alongside everything else mentioned. Resident Evil Village will also be getting a new update, which will be a free accessibility update that will arrive at the same time as the new DLC. In the accessibility update, it will include customizable subtitles. The player will be able to change the colour and size and background of the subtitles. They will now also display who the speaker is in the conversation. Capcom will also be adding the option to enable closed captioning, as well as another option to place an aiming reticle permanently over the screen. This update and the DLC will both arrive on October the 28th. In other news, Team 17 have announced that they're acquiring the Hell Let Loose IP. Hell Let Loose is a multiplayer team-based World War II first-person shooter developed by Black Matter Games and published by Team 17. Team 17 are also the ones responsible for creating the Worms franchise, and they're purchasing this IP for £31 million, with a consideration of £15 million subject to performance. The acquisition was announced in a press release which said that it will enable Team 17 to create additional opportunities to extend the life cycle of the existing game, including downloadable content, ongoing support, as well as exploring potential sequels and other commercial opportunities for the Hell Let Loose IP to drive the long-term growth and value of the Hell Let Loose franchise. I just hope they don't start running the developers into the ground, forcing them to make things faster than they actually can. In other news, we have game development studio Frogwares working on a remake of the 2007 Sherlock Holmes The Awakened. The remake is being built in Unreal Engine 4 using mostly brand new assets as well as reworked assets from the recent Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1. There will also be entirely new gameplay mechanics, reworked and expanded existing gameplay features, rewritten and expanded story elements, all new voice acting, and a more modern third-person camera. The story now follows a young Sherlock and his sidekick Watson taking their first case together, which starts out simple enough but ends up involving a cult that worships Cthulhu. In trying to bring down the cult as Sherlock, you'll explore 4 locations, which are Victorian London, a Swiss psych ward, the New Orleans Bayou, and the Scottish Highlands. The Sherlock Holmes Awakened remake is being crowdfunded on Kickstarter and will launch on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and PC. In other news, a rumour surfaced recently saying that Google's cloud gaming service Stadia will be shutting down for good by the end of summer. This prompted an official response from Google as they denied the claim, stating that they're working on bringing more great games to the platform. The rumour all started because of an anonymous person releasing a statement claiming they're a friend of a regional Google manager, where they said, long story short, Google is beginning their exit plan. They did not have an exact date that the end of service will happen, but they did say by the end of summer. He also mentioned he will not be transferring their services or servers to any other competition per se, and it will be much like they did with Google Play Music. Same exit approach and strategy. He also mentioned that all members would be informed 30 to 60 days before, and that the last month of service will be refunded and no charge for its usage. Also, any available subscription months will be refunded fully to your linked bank account. Obviously, none of what this person said in their statement is true, and Google themselves have stated that they're not planning on shutting it down anytime soon. But why anyone would give any credence to the anonymous person on the internet making a claim like that without any evidence or reliable sources, aside from the claim of being a friend of a regional Google manager, I'll never know. Also in the news, we have an artist accusing Activision Blizzard, and by extension Call of Duty Vanguard maker Raven Software, of plagiarizing their work. Raven Software has since removed the alleged plagiarism, the Fluff Furry Tracer Pack, from both its social media and YouTube channels. Mention of the skin was also removed from Raven's blog post about the pack. Artist Sale Lin tweeted, "I'm the original artist that the upcoming Call of Duty Vanguard Salmon skin was plagiarized from. Even though I'm a Call of Duty player, I am very disappointed to see my work plagiarized by a big company like Activision in this way. I have reached out to Activision for an explanation and or compensation, and hopefully the situation will be settled soon. Personally, I do see the similarities between the designs. However, it's also not a unique or original concept. But Raven Software removing all mention of that particular skin is a bit strange. I would have expected them to completely ignore it or defend themselves, but trying to hide all mention of it does make them look a bit guilty. But let me know what you think of it down in the comment section below, as that's all we have time for this week. And also while you're down there, let me know your opinion on any other topics covered this week, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.